Hi, it's Amethyst Virgo. Thank you so much for joining back in. I have some exciting news. For those of you interested, I'm going to release a course, a self-paced course at the end of April. It is called a Sun and Moon Deep Dive. Now you may say, but wait, I already know about the sun and the moon. This course is going to go more in depth about decans, houses. It will have examples of charts. It'll have reflection activities. It'll talk about transits. It'll talk about houses. It'll go in depth with understanding the difference between signs based on degrees and all the things you might need to become better at interpreting astrology for yourself or others. So please watch out for that. Feel free to email me for more details, and it is going to be available at the end of April. As a reminder, if you need to book a reading, please go to amethystvirgoastrology.com. Just to share, I only have one Instagram, I have one Twitter account, and I'm not on TikTok, so I have an account, but I don't use it. I also have two YouTube accounts, the Amethyst Virgo Readings one. That's for some of you who've gotten readings from me. You'll see I posted on there as a private or unlisted video. And I have this account, this YouTube. I'm pretty minimalist when it comes to social media. And again, just because if some of you saw my last post, there are people trying to impersonate members of the spiritual community on social media, stealing their profiles. As you can see, you're never going to see me email you directly unless you're already one of my clients and we already have a deal. You're never going to see me DM you or ask you, do you need a reading? And if I did, it would probably be better grammar than the person who tried to impersonate me, because I'm an English teacher. Like, come on, right? But you have to go to my website or email me directly, amethystvirgo@gmail, to talk about readings, okay? So just want to share that. Just put that out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are dishonest, and as you can see, I'm pretty straightforward with everything I do, so I'm never going to approach readings in that way. All right, so some of you put some requests in for this astrology blends. I talked about different zodiac blends. Now, of course, you could say, but wait, what about an Aries and a Scorpio with Cancer energy? The deeper we get into multiple placements, that's more of a reading. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of hard to do all of that because that's an interpretation type of technique. This is more so me looking at two signs and telling you like what would the energy kind of be like, okay? So Libra Sun, Virgo Moon. Now you're going to see me look up because of course from what you all suggested, I typed up some notes of what I think. Libra Sun, Virgo Moon. This is probably the person that does put a lot of effort into how they present. But it's different than a regular Virgo type energy person because Libra is also about the aesthetics. Remember, Venus being that ruler of Libra. And so this can be a perfectionist type of person, but they're not just a perfectionist in what they look like. They're also perfectionists in work ethic. So when you have Libra, which is about this level of balance, but you have Virgo, which could be the sign of service and the sign of detail-oriented nature, you know, you're going to have a person who kind of can come across as kind of very, very insistent that their attire or their physical appearance or their work, it has to be good. It has to look good. This is a person that may ask for opinions a lot, especially if this is a person that also has Mercury in Libra. There can be a nature of like wanting things to be really good, but it's for a different reason than your typical Virgo energy person would have it. Libra, Sun, Virgo, Moons, even when you have people who are Virgos, but they're that last decan Virgo or Virgo with a lot of Libra energy, they tend to put a little bit more emphasis on partnerships than like your other average Virgos with other energy. They can be a little bit more, it's not necessarily an extroversion, it's more of an openness to other people that you probably would not see. You don't see as much with a Virgo with a lot of Cancer energy. With Virgo and Leo energy, you sometimes see this is more about them trying to highlight their talents a little bit more, to highlight themselves. But once you get Virgo and Libra kind of together in a chart, you have a person who is a little bit more particular. So there can be still an emphasis on partnership. There's a little bit more of a need to feel and see that what they're choosing to invite in their life is actually something that they want. But you do tend to see, like, if let's say you have a Libra Sun, Virgo Moon person, someone specifically said this combination, I think what you could hear is this is not the type of Libra that leaves things undone. Okay, so sometimes you can have Libra who is kind of, impartial to finishing things because, it depends on the person, of course. But remember, Venus ruled signs are about this kind of relaxation and not liking the conflict and not liking things that are too much pressure. So if you ever see a Libra who's not able to finish things, you look at their chart, you're probably going to see why, by degree or something of that nature, why they don't like to completely put full energy into something, because sometimes it is a little bit too harsh. right? Too hard. And I see so many smart Libras. I have a daughter, I have a Libra. And I teach a lot of Libra students, but what you'll notice about Libra is like some of them, you can tell they know it, but they're not. Sometimes Libra's like, I did enough. I'm not putting all this energy into it just yet. But when you combine the Virgo nature there, maybe even some people with Capricorn energy, you're going to see that they don't leave anything undone. Right? The moon in Virgo needs to be organized. There's an inner need. And for those of you who don't have a moon in Virgo, you don't understand the inner need to be organized. The sun in Virgo is this outer need to appear organized. The Virgo sun appreciates the organization of the physical world, but inside, again, it depends on what that person's moon sign is. But with this Libra sun, you get this type of energy, this person that is willing to complete things and wants to get things done, or has a deeper capacity to want those different things. Could be a little bit self-critical on self. This could be the person who's a little bit more interested in their outer appearance, because with the Virgo, it's always this self-criticism is very common for many Virgos in many ways. Now, again, most Virgos at a certain age in their life get over that, but this could be the person who is more concerned and aware of and conscious of what they look like. So it is important sometimes for those people to kind of realize that perfection does not exist in the way in which they may think that it exists, right? And also understand the fact that sometimes these people can appear congenial on the outside and happy on the outside, but inside they actually need a little bit more time to reflect and to think about what it is that they want. This is where you can see a person who is, you're like, well, are non-committal, but it's not that they're non-committal, it's that they need time to process it. So you could be like, oh, this person's so nice, I want to date them, but Moon and Virgo, they might take a little bit more time to reflect and to think about what they want from you. But that outer presentation of Libra can sometimes make it difficult. Now, if you have like a Virgo sun, Libra moon, this is a Virgo that requires a little bit more companionship. This could be the Virgo that is a little bit more, not as decisive. They're not as much of the lone wolf as a Virgo with other moon signs. So that's how you would flip it reverse. You tend to say that. Now, again, anything else that is not said, you probably need a reading for, because this is very general. Capricorn sun, Cancer moon. This person typically needs to be honest about how the outer need for accomplishment is not the only part of them. Let's say you have a Capricorn person, Capricorn sun, maybe they're also a Capricorn, Mercury and Capricorn. And there's like this intense need to be seen, respected, to kind of always appear as if they are committed. Like I'm going to get that done. Yeah, I'm going to get that done. You see a lot that Capricorn energy people like to be seen as competent. They don't like to be seen as incompetent. And that ranges from the kids to the adults. So Capricorn struggles with any level of vulnerability in a different way than Scorpio. Very different reason why. But what you can see some here is like, but there's still, at the end of the day, the person has to, from that moon in Cancer, they're more sensitive to things than they think, especially things that are their making, things that are their creation. So the moon in Cancer, and also the need to feel that they belong, or that they're accepted into something, right? And so they sometimes can have the outer appearance of like, oh, I don't care about that, or I don't need this type of, I don't need companionship. I just need to get, I'm just worrying about my goals. But if you see a Capricorn person, and there's a water moon even, especially, there you have to do a little bit more digging to really understand what motivates them, because it's not always the Capricorn energy. That Capricorn energy is what's got them the most respect, but it's not really diving deeper to the core. That is why sometimes you will see relationships fizzle, because not just this placement, but relationships fizzle because people are leading with their outer energy, because that's what society like sees, and that's what people respond to. But deeper, when people start to understand their emotions more, the moon is really the driver of those things, right? I was also said, because we know Capricorn and Cancer is associated with moon, with Cancer mother energy, Capricorn with a paternal energy. Sometimes it's Saturn is kind of that energy, but the values and traditions are things of that nature, connecting with their roots and how things should be done. A Capricorn sun Cancer person has a good understanding of the way things should be done, and it comes from an inner need to preserve their roots, or inner need to preserve. And again, if somebody's not really connected to their roots, then it would still be this inner need to preserve something that they feel is special or of value. And with the Capricorn nature, it's the tradition of, I know how things should be done. And Capricorn and Cancer both can be really committed to what it is they're used to. Capricorn, we got results before, we're going to do it this way. Cancer, this makes me feel comfortable. I know this at the back of my hand. Cancer is really good with doing things it knows really well, okay? Because it makes them emotionally feel secure. But it's important sometimes to break free from that, right? So if this person has any Aquarius energy in the chart, that would help them be also a little bit more open-minded, inventive with things. Again, they're more driven by standards of systems, Capricorn, and the past, the moon in Cancer, okay? And there's a protective nature here, typically, you know, not just their own image. These people also could protect people that they care about or people that they feel deserve or need their sense of care. It doesn't mean everybody will be protected by these individuals, but it does mean like when they feel like somebody's connected to them. So you know how you can have some people who are very like, you know, they're bleeding hearts. They want to help everybody. Capricorn, Sun, Cancer, Moon, there tends to be a little bit more of a loyalty to who they decide to help, okay? Now, Aries, Sun, Pisces, Moon. Well, there's a sensitivity to this Aries person. Watch out for it. Again, we get fooled a lot. We look at, oh, the sun sign. And again, that's why we got to dive deeper. But also understand that somebody's sun sign will come out at some point or another. The moon will come out. A lot of times, you know, we'll say, oh, they're not really like a Taurus. They're not really. But if you study people enough, you're going to see, and by degrees and houses and aspects, you can understand what angle of Aries is this person showing? Because all the signs have different parts to them. If you read an astrology book, a good one, and it brings up a sign, it's going to have like 50 descriptions. So it's up to us to interpret what of those 50 descriptions is relevant to that person. I would say whether they're active or they take initiative, when you meet an inactive Aries person, the question is more about, have you seen them in all arenas? So a lot of times we'll see a Pisces dominant Aries person and be like, well, they're not the typical Aries. They don't kind of come off that way. But you have to understand, Aries need to assert self. Aries likes to insert sometimes even itself into situations, okay? Just like Sagittarius likes to insert itself in moral decisions or decisions that require, understanding the broad scope of things. Just like Leo likes to insert itself to show what they can do, right? Those things are there. So the importance here is when you see somebody, you're like, oh, they're Aries. Aries is a very fiery energy. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's going to show up in some way. And what sometimes people don't do is you're waiting for it. And you're like, oh, they're not. No, so you have to indulge sometimes in what the Aries is trying to assert about themselves, because that's a part of their conscious identity of self and being recognized and being seen and being noticed for those things. Just being noticed. Different than what obviously Leo wants to be noticed for. Now, the Pisces moon can mean, or Pisces energy in the Aries person can mean there's a need to feel accepted or understood in a more empathetic way. So no, this is not the lone wolf Aries. Sometimes they can go off on their own, but guess what? Especially if you put an Aries sun, a Pisces moon, a Libra rising, all of a sudden, nope, now you have a person who needs a little bit more affection, or they need a little bit more understanding. They don't want to just be a lone wolf like you might assume for Aries, but they still need to, they still need themselves to feel validated. Look at me, kid, look at this, the kid. Right? Like, I'm going to go try this. I'm going to go do this. They need to feel validated. You got to give them a little bit of freedom, because Aries is always seeking this need to assert self. Now, as children, you have to be careful of how that looks in terms of danger, and in terms of boundaries and limitations and things of that nature. But that's something you can see. Now, what I've noticed before with Aries with Pisces energy, they're more, not all, because there's another blend of this where this doesn't happen that I know. But I'm saying some of them are more apt to apologize or be empathetic. Aries who have 12th house energy, Pisces energy, what I noticed is that they're, and especially Aries and Pisces is a very interesting dynamic. I think you see this more in Aries and Pisces than you maybe will Aries and Cancer. This ability to reach beyond yourself. And that can be hard for Aries sometimes, because naturally that's not what they want to do. But there's an inner need, especially if they're rising, you're responding to the sensitivities of life. You're influenced. You're influenced by what things are not in front of you. You're influenced by, art. Aries, Pisces energy is influenced by artistic things, imagination, right? There's a growing need to connect to the world in the universal way when you have Aries and Pisces. So I think it's a pretty good combination most of the time. Aries and Scorpio, well, this is quincunx energy. Mars rules over both of them, as we know. Scorpio has a little Pluto touch. Well, you know, the ruler, modern ruler, they're co-rulers. Initiative matches intentionality. That means the person's what they initiate, it actually matches what they want to do. You know how some people, it doesn't match. You can't really tell why they're doing something. They're just doing it. The difference here can be there's an inner battle, though, right? Because Aries is, I'm going to tell the world what I'm about to do. I don't care. Scorpio is more plotting, methodical. It is more underneath the radar because of that Pluto influence. And so it could be a battle. It could, you know, of like inner. So let's say the person is an Aries moon, Scorpio sun, or vice versa. There's an inner battle somewhere of which part of Aries Mars to show. And sometimes because it's an awkward energy, it can come out strange. Like sometimes you can see person more with a Scorpio nature, like, oh shoot, like you're organized today, or you're really handling that well. Like, because you know, Scorpio is the careful control of something in a more psychological way. But Aries sometimes is going full force. So sometimes that person, that Aries Scorpio person, is going full force and not telling you what they're about to do because they don't feel they have to do that. It's already the Aries nature. I don't really need to check in with you first. If an Aries person is checking in with you first, it's either because you have a relationship where that's expected, or there's some other energy in their chart when they're able to think and look beyond themselves to really involve other people. An Aries sun with a Scorpio moon mulls or is confused by the complexity of their feelings sometimes. Like, this is deep, but understanding that the way, like, it could be a person who longs and wants a deep connection to people, but their outer expression or how they live their life does not really support that. You know what I mean? Or the Scorpio person who likes to, you know, to be seen as controlled and seen, not that controlled, but they want to be seen as like, I have myself under control, right? But inside they actually are a little bit of rebellious. Inside they need a little bit more freedom and independence. This is why you see a person who gets married early in life because that's what they're supposed to do, or because that feels like, I can handle this, you know, this is something I'm supposed to do, you know, I want to combine resources with people. It's a Scorpio type thing. But then the Aries inside of them, then they get divorced later, or they needed something. It doesn't mean everybody's going to get divorced, but they needed something that required more independence. But because they didn't know what that meant for themselves, they decided to pour into a relationship. And sometimes when we decide to pour things we need into relationships, we actually miss the developmental part of ourselves. This could be a person, though, also who acts and strategizes later, right? You have an Aries individual with the Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon in particular. Both signs will be active, so regardless of the flop, in pursuit, but the issue can become more of a problem. The person faces a cycle of always having to control or clean up their actions to situations. Here's what I mean. A person who's like, why did I do that? I was impulsive. I shouldn't have done that. And now you have to go apologize to everybody, or now you have to go fix your mistakes. That could be really, really noticeable in the Aries Scorpio dynamic, especially with children, of like, they know the right thing to do. Because again, Scorpio is really good with the methodical, the kind of approach to, let me go deep before I actually act, right? But when you combine Aries, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. Now, Cancer, Sun, Sagittarius, Moon would be interesting. These are signs that are quincunx as well. They're 5 signs apart. So they're not really sharing any energy, right? They're not sharing a modality. They're not sharing an element, etc. Here would be the person that requires or needs full expression of their feelings, that they have a range of them, and they can sometimes have different relationships with different people, because remember, Sagittarius has more of this open understanding and philosophy about things, but also remember, Sagittarius can understand the diversity of things a little bit more in a broad way. Sometimes some people, it's Sagittarius energy works different. Again, signs are a spectrum, okay? But what I'm saying here is like a person who it understands the importance of emotional connection, but Sagittarius meaning, though, it has to have purpose. And so they may sometimes behave differently around different people who give them different levels of emotional support, if that makes sense, okay? A heavy Cancerian with just a splash of Sagittarius is not likely to be very confrontational or heavily blunt. As a Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius rising, you know, and nothing else, it's probably less obvious, but the individual may still have awareness outside of themselves for how they feel. And that's what makes it interesting. Even when you have, say, well, if you have a Sagittarius sun and a Cancer moon, well, Sagittarius sun and a Cancer moon, that's different. I'm gonna get in that in a second. But what I would say with the Cancer sun, Sagittarius moon blend, this person may, they're always in a quest though to fully understand themselves. And I think there's a little bit of self-awareness here of like the Cancer nature of needing to, one, can kind of protective of themselves, really cautious over themselves and their own image until they feel comfortable. Because that Sag moon, all you have to do is excite them, and then you're going to get a different side out of them where they feel a little bit more open to explore and share how they really feel with you. Now, Sag sun, Cancer moon, inverse would be different, because your sun is the core traits of how you express or more outward in this case. So the Sag sun person would be more outward, perhaps. This person appears or seems more accepting. They appear, oh, wow, they're open, they've done different things. They're kind of that person at the work training that's always, has to, oh yeah, I did that one time. One time I was traveling to Rome and, right? But the Cancer moon is private. Pay attention to Sag sun, Cancer moon. What do they actually share? Because if it's a Sag sun, Cancer moon, Capricorn, Mercury and Capricorn, because Mercury and the sun are always going to be close together in some way. That person's not going to share a lot about their private self, their private side. Okay, there's going to be more, and again, especially if that Cancer moon and that Mercury are opposing by degree, there's going to be a little bit more privacy, a little bit protective nature of their image. So that person's not going to be an open book like you might think they would, okay, about their personal life, but they might tell a lot about their experiences. Couple this with a mutable rising, and this person could spend a lot of time trying to adapt to the world around it, when there is also a need to listen to their inner voice. I'm looking at my computer on my notes. Right? Be careful. Like if you're constantly Sag sun and fire or whatever they have in your chart, you're reacting and responding to life and exploring, experiencing, and you're always thinking about the life and society and all these things and how you fit in and what's the truth. And you're arguing all these things with people. Sometimes it could be a little self-righteous energy to Sag. But the problem here could be you have to listen to your inner voice. So if you have Cancer moon, your inner voice and your intuition is going to also need to be heard and seen in terms of you being able to use some of that to really influence how you make decisions. For example, a person who finally does what they need to after years of trying to discover themselves. A person who's done all these different great things, but they still aren't happy because they really need to dive deeper in. And Cancer moon energy is about self-reliance, understanding what you need emotionally to thrive, what you personally have decided is something that's important for your own development. Now, Taurus and Leo, sometimes when I see this, I would say tends to be creative, more so in terms of physical items. I think I would see more here. It's not that they wouldn't be an artist, but I would say either they're doing something with music, because expression, Leo and Taurus can be about singing, or they're doing something physical, making jewelry, or making something that makes that it's something that we can see and touch and use, perhaps. Remember, Taurus energy is about usefulness as well. So that's what you can tend to see if there's a creative side of this person. It also can mean the way that they style themselves or how they decorate can show what they value. Right, you're going to see it shows what is important. So when you look at the Leo Taurus person, it's kind of be a little bit more clear what they find valuable, because you're going to see it in how they live their life. Taurus more the influence, and Leo is always about the self-expression. Even when Leo's not, what you think, boasting or performative or whatever, little buzzwords we say about Leo, there's Leo energy is always going to show you their pride, whatever they're prideful about, whatever they're proud of, you're going to see it. Even when they're quiet about it, you're going to see it. When you walk in their living room, you're going to see their degrees up, or you're going to see this up, or their trophy, or whatever it is that they have, right? You're going to see it. If they like their style, you're going to see that they make it a point. Their profile picture has their favorite style, and there's something right there, right? Now, there can be a possessive nature to Taurus, Leo people. Taurus is about mine, or this is my resource, this is mine. And Leo can definitely be mine. If it's depending on other aspects here. Again, you have to look at the whole chart, but it could be a square, and it is a square energy, but by degree, if these signs square in someone's charts, even more profound, how more of that kind of possessive nature can kind of sometimes take hold over certain people. Now, again, like I said, you want to actually look at the whole chart. Now, someone's like, well, can't, Taurus and Leo, they have to watch out for weight gain. I think anytime you see Taurus energy in the chart, you can sometimes see that, or even Cancer, Now, again, it doesn't mean everybody, but it could be the person who is average weight, but needs to watch what they eat because they know if they don't, there could be some weight gain. But I would say, why would that be? Well, Leo can overdo things just like Sagittarius can, but Sagittarius is more likely to overdo things. Leo sometimes has a lot because whatever it likes, it wants to have at its disposal. And Taurus likes comfort, and Taurus is associated with food, cuisine. We know that, right? So yes, you could sometimes see that. Now again, I might do a video about physical appearance and different physical and health and things like that, astrology. You have to be careful sometimes talking about those things as a blueprint, because of course there's going to be different reasons. If a person has a medical ailment, or if a person just has a high metabolism, it's not going to matter what their astrology is, right? Or if somebody had a surgery, it's not going to matter what their astrology is if there's a medical reason why their body responds the way it does. So, but I would say that honestly, more so if people concerned about weight, and I can talk candidly about this. I've had to lose weight. I've gained weight over the years. Many of us can relate to that as we get older. So I can say what I want to say right about it. Because like, for example, I have moon sextile Jupiter. Jupiter's in my sixth house of health. Jupiter can be, again, Jupiter is great for my sixth house, but it also can represent health, right? Likely with Sagittarius and Taurus Jupiter, like if you had a person with Sagittarius and Taurus energy, I would say definitely, like there could be, not definitely, but there could be more of that. But Jupiter, it has to make an aspect usually to a planet for there to be in Jupiter contact the ascendant, square the ascendant, or something like that. Capricorn Pisces has to be careful. I say this as somebody that has a person in my life that is a Capricorn, has a Capricorn moon, Pisces energy. Be careful of, this is the biggest thing I'm going to say, and again, if it doesn't apply to you, probably a reason in your chart why it doesn't. Be careful of victimization or feelings of depression or feelings of like, life is so hard. It's hard to deal with reality. Now, again, if you have any serious depression, serious, mental health issues, of course, there's professionals that can help with that. So I think that, anybody, regardless of whether you have mental health issues, benefits from therapy and things like that. But the reason I'm saying that is because this sign, remember, Pisces is sensitive to everything. And Capricorn is reality. And so these people can understand the reality and imagination at the same time, which can be very difficult to to want to believe so much that things can be better. Like Pisces, like universalism, like we want to heal, you want to do all these things, but then Capricorn's the reality of, but wait, life is hard and people are horrible. Like there are bad people out here. There's poverty, there's violence, there's oppression. That's Capricorn's reality. Capricorn knows that. But Pisces is sensitive to that. And so this individual, whatever they see is their reality. So you have to be really careful when you have this energy. Even a person, if they have Saturn and Pisces in a prominent placement, or Saturn's their chart ruler or something like that, they often demonstrate more hope for others than they do themselves, especially if they care about the person's success. So this is the person cheerleading on their sibling or their parent or whoever, their child, but deep down, they're not doing it for themselves. So they have to be really careful not to have that self-sacrificing energy, because this person can get down in the dumps. Again, you have to look at your chart if this doesn't apply to you. But if the Capricorn is more outward, the sun or the rising, now they may appear stronger than they feel on the inside. They face pressure, but they show up, right? I'm showing up, but really they need to admit that they would need help. Often this energy needs outlets that combine a need for reality and sympathy. And maybe you can do this in your line of work. So like keeping up the hope of things through maybe the work in which you do, but also Capricorn and Pisces, understand the limitations of what you can handle. If you can't handle a bunch of sad news, don't watch it. If you can't handle certain topics, just avoid it. It's okay. Right. So that's something I would just say. And again, I know that personally, I'm just talking about this from, seeing people with Capricorn, Pisces energy in different phases of their life and how I've seen this play out. And again, it's not a bad one. This is just, you have to be careful with this energy, because Capricorn and Pisces represent very different things, but both are about a kind of vision in a way, if you think about it. Capricorn more of the reality, and Pisces more of the universal or creative vision. And when you combine that, you get very interesting energy. So just be aware. But also Capricorn and Pisces are signs that are, there are signs that are sextile. So Capricorn and Pisces actually is good if you know how to utilize that. Taurus and Virgo, I would say, they tend to keep a low profile. The Virgo nervousness may be a little less intense with prominent Taurus placements due to in Taurus. So if the person has more Taurus energy, maybe a Virgo moon, Virgo rising, there's more of a need to be complacent before making decisions. And so that can help the person not have that Virgo overthinking, double thinking, let me think about it again type of energy. Now, comfort and expectations are important to this individual. You have to be really aware of that. Okay. Taurus makes the individual more prone to highlighting thought and more focused on details. So this isn't the Taurus who's just like, we'll just get it done. Don't, because sometimes Taurus has to watch out, because Taurus needs to understand everybody doesn't work on your timeline. And Taurus can do really good work, but sometimes it's on their time. It's Venus. Venus is not worried about your timeline. So Mercury in Virgo is like, wait, we need to know the specific time, the dates, and this, like, when is it? So this can help the Taurus person really, really back up what they say by being more prone to being involved in the minute details of things. They do best, they do best when laying the foundation for something and trying to figure it out. So it doesn't mean that these people can't be the front runners or they can't be the ones seen and visible, but sometimes Taurus and Virgo, like, they're more concerned is getting the thing done. Taurus being really good at using its resources. Oh yeah, I know, I got something for that. Oh yeah, I got something for that. Virgo obviously being more of that ability to kind of intellectually figure things out, problem solving common things, problem solving problems a lot of people have. So Virgo, Taurus energy people could be really good at like working in a capacity where you're solving something. You're resolving a problem that is common, or you're resolving or dealing with something that everybody has to do, right? Because it's very approachable, but it's very relatable to other people, okay? This could be for people who create something for others to develop to be popular. So here's what I mean. You have a Virgo, Taurus person, they create something. They do something because it works, right? And then it's the people who got the more extroverted energy that carry that thought through. So if you're thinking of like a company, your person that's laying the framework for what the blueprint looks like is the Taurus, maybe, because Taurus can be that blueprint energy, that foundation. This is what it's going to be. Virgo gets the details done, right? And then the person carries it forth. You could even think of that even in a family dynamic, right? The family, you know, the one person is like, okay, well, we're going to go here. Right? We're going to go here. I planned, I saved, we're going to go on a family vacation, but it's the other parent that plans all the fun stuff. Because Taurus and Virgo people like to just be practical, do things in a realistic way, and really just like, some people thrive off that. I know some people don't vibe with Virgo or Taurus energy, or don't vibe with Earth energy because you're like, oh, it's not interesting enough. But it's like, that energy likes just doing what makes sense. Virgo, Taurus energy likes just doing what's practical. That's not all they have energy to do, especially Taurus ruled by Venus. Taurus is going to do only what it has energy to do, okay? And Virgo sometimes can second guess themselves. So the timing is something that this person, you know, again, I think the Virgo can kind of help with that. But if you want just razzle dazzle and spectacular, like, you have to be careful of just applying certain expectations on certain signs when every sign has its usefulness. So there are some signs I didn't get to do this time. I still have to do Scorpio and Libra, Taurus and Cancer, Pisces and Aquarius. I know that you requested that. I did not forget about you, and I'm going to make sure that's in the next one. Thank you for watching.